Welcome to the Self-Love Podcast. I am your host. It's no more Ntswana. It is Reitumetse Ntswana. And I am back. I am back after taking a unplanned for break, but also planned for. A lot of things happened. A lot of things mentally, physically, spiritually, everywhere around me, and even in the world happened. I found myself growing and reflecting on things, journaling, talking about my life to myself. And I was thinking about where this podcast is going, where it's supposed to be headed, and where it's meant to. What is the purpose of the podcast? And what are the things I really enjoy doing? And the life and times of the podcast. And I came to the answer that I don't want to have a podcast that is just for rainy days. I don't want to have a podcast where you have to listen to it and say, when I feel down, I listen to this thing because he's also down. And that creates a narrative that the Self-Love Podcast, it is a community of sad people. When I would think that I am pretty happy. Life is good. I like being happy. Maybe not all the time I can be happy, but at the chances I get to be happy, for the most part of it, I am very happy with life. And I've gotten out of the mentality of just abusing myself with the idea that if I see something that I like, or I see someone doing as good or better than me, I will have the idea that, oh, look at that person, they have everything figured out. They have the nice house, they have the nice car, they have everything. And it boils down to, do I want to do that? Because that person has the Range Rover and whatever, but it's not something that I want, or it's not something that I have been putting the effort into it. And if I want that thing, I should put in the work. And as I'm sitting here, I've been looking at myself, appreciating the plenty of things that I have, and also appreciating the plenty of things that I don't have. It's hard living in today's times. It's hard living in the world where everyone who is below the age of 30 has a Lamborghini online or has a house online. But then you go outside into the real world. Many people, even older than your parents, are walking. So now you wonder that which world is that one? And you can find that most of these people, whatever they do, they got their stuff in whatever means. Or you bump into a guy on YouTube. There's a guy I love, Ryan Sohanti, and his life is ideal. I'd love to have a life that looks so fulfilling. But I only discovered him 3 years ago, and this guy is almost in his 40s. That means that for the last, let's just say 38 years, he was doing something. And I did not see that stuff. So I'm only here for the good times. And with anything in life, I don't want to look at it and say, oh yes, these are the good times. That's the good times. This is the nice time. But it's been fun. And in the beginning of the podcast, I said that I am no more Ntswana, but I am Reitumetse Ntswana. Kelly was a stage name to a rap career that did not happen. So how the name came about is I was sitting with a family friends. We were going through the phases of trying to be hip-hop stars, and we couldn't come up with names. So the first name I had was Reezy Ray, but then it didn't have that thing, because Reezy Ray, imagine. I just thought about Zulu people saying my name, or guys from Malawi, that would be Lazy Lay, so it did not make sense. So then we were in the kitchen, we were trying to cook up some dirty Sprite for the first time. We were trying to experiment with dirty Sprite. So we had the pills in our hands and we were trying. So now the thing about mixing dirty Sprite and doing these things is you don't know how to do it. So you ask Google, what is the recipe to mixing dirty Sprite? Because you want to have that Lil Wayne voice, right? I was 14 at this time, forgive me. So we go online, we go online, they say get cough syrup and Sprite and put a quarter of that thing in that Sprite and mix it and shake it, and then I think leave it for like 10 seconds and then drink it. It had that stuff. And so we are in the medicine cabinet at my house searching for this, right? And then I come across these vitamins, Cali Mag, some vitamins. So I'm like, wait, Cali Mag, Cali as in California, because at that time there was the song by Kid Ink, California Dreaming, and one of my favorite rappers at that time, G-Eazy, was popular for that. California, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley sound, hip-hop-ish. So I was obsessed with California. And then the Mag, I was like, nah, Mag. My favorite rapper is Mac Miller, so it'll be Mac. And then, but it cannot just be Cali Mag. It feels like it's supposed to end with something. And so I was like, oh, okay, Cali Mag D, you know? I won't explain what the D stands for, but it stands for that. If you know what it stands for. That stuff. So it became Cali Mag D, given that D. I just explained to what the D stands for. So from there it became Cali Mag. So as you know, rapper, the nickname ends up having a nickname to itself, because I come from an era where people had very educated rap names like Abo, Kemet, Banbani, like big names. So I ended up becoming Ukeli, and then Kelly became my ID name, like became a name that I had. But then lately I've been analyzing my life, and I realized that for a long time I did not like my first name. I did not like Reitumetse. I couldn't even say to myself that, hey, my name is Reitumetse. Like, this is the most probably I've said it in my life. And the reasons why I don't like it is because when I was in school, I was bullied. I was bullied to a place because I was bullied for various things. That I was skinny, had a big head, I used to stutter, and I had a very difficult name for white people. And so white people would struggle to say my name. So I would spend probably, let's just say 15 minutes plus the stuttering trying to say my name, because I say Reitumetse. And by the time you get to that part, they're like, the fuck? And then finally they're like, oh, Reitu. Or some will just flat out say Rudy. And so I started hating the name, because everyone else had an easy name like Eric, Michael, John, Tembi, Manban, you know, Aroni. Easy names to write, because in primary school you're taught how to read and write in English before you're taught in your native tongue. So in class you'd get marks for writing your name. So when your name is Catherine, it's there's a Kath, and then you know how to do it. But mufano palo Reitumetse mfethu uzofika nini ukuthi ngume because this is you know. So now you're trying to explain this thing to a white person that I can't spell my name. So manje nobody nice, because now she doesn't know the spelling, and she doesn't even care to teach you, because she's got like 20 kids, 15 kids in the class. So to hell with your name, learn how to spell your name, or else you're not gonna get this fizz pop. Simple as that. So I went from school to school because of bullying. I came to my last school. I was like, you know what, this thing of working, spend 30 hours and explaining Kamalam, making 7 So rather let me just make it easy. My second name is Lebuchang, so I was like Lebu. Lebu is easy to write because it's 4 letters. It's L, you know what, it's L-E, and then there's a P-O. That's easy, I came. So I got there, easily wrote my name, Lebu. Easy. And it was easy also for white kids, and I'm a coconut class didn't need to pronounce it. And life was easy for that year, because I did not have to struggle to say Lebu. Everyone could say it became Lebu and all of that stuff, you know. So, and then about papaya, about Chupu, but again, I see collab. But yeah, that was the thing, and that stuck with me. Even when I went into homeschooling, it stuck with me that okay, I got into homeschooling. It was a thing of, I did not like my identity. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like myself, because I spent so much time in school, people telling me that this is not something you should like. So subconsciously, it's like, nah, I don't like myself. So Mixed Era comes in. Mixed Era was good because everyone was everyone. For a while I was little Romeo, Bengu Romeo. I would take his pictures and catfish basically. And life was good. People would say, "Oh, Romeo," whatever name I had at the time, Kevin. Like everyone was lying when you mix it by feet. Everyone was lying. We all dated the same girl. One uniform, Niamas. Those who know mix it. So that era, you now building your self-esteem through other people's pictures. And then I remember in Mixed Era, there was a girl, Bambizu Lusejo. I think she was like 26, and I think she was the only person who was real on Mixed, because she sent me her real picture, and I was like, okay, how? This is not Tukanyimba. You're sending me your real self. And she was like 26 and being Romeo, and I think she knew, but she was just entertaining it because siyadlala, you know. So Romeo is there, you know. It's just sad life. Romeo, and it got to a point where in that friendship relationship thing, she was like, "Can I see your real picture?" Then I sent her my picture, and she did not respond. Still to this day, I made a response like BRB. Because she had to go check MMS work. From that day, I don't think she responded. So that was fine with me, because you're like, okay, fine, mix it. This is the thing. And then the older you get, the much we started to go into about BBM. BBM, it was weird to talk to strangers. So you now had to get real people who knew how you look, and they knew you to have you on BBM. So now on BBM, slowly but surely, you know, you're cousins, and then it becomes the guy next door, it becomes the guy you play soccer with, and then jiggy, there are girls on there. So now girls, it is a place for everyone to build their self-esteem. Guys are building it because at the ages of 12 or whatever, you discover this phenomenon of ukshela. And now mushela, you're trying to show off your biggest bravado, so you can't come with something you're not confident with. It's a confidence game. So many girls knew me by Kelly, you know, and my other friend Begu Subs, you know, so does Kelly and Subs, you know, nice on the tongue. I did not think Utif do no Subs, you know. So I became Ukeli for a long time, and a lot of people in my youth, I think they know Ukeli before they know Ridu. And I really did not like that name, and it's very sad to say, but it's the truth. I hated that name, Reitumetse, subconsciously. And I only had to, like, this year, I looked into myself. I was like, Fetu, Okala, I'm not Umlungu. Uban Ukeli, California. Even in university, people, till this day, dog, Bangazi as Ukeli, and that is beyond me. I would say I am ashamed of it and embarrassed of it now, because people that I'm meeting now and operating around, it has forced me to use my real name, because so I say that to say that the podcast is changing. I'm being my real self. Well, more realer, because now you know my real name, Reitumetse Ntswana. I don't know Itagazelo Sami, and I know abantu abaningi will ask, how come you have a bedi of Sotho names, but we haven't heard you say one thing in Sotho. My mother is Zulu. That's all I'll say. So they share Zulu, and if you have an issue with that, go see me now. So now the podcast, let's go back to the podcast. The podcast, what's going to happen to the podcast? The podcast is still going to be here. I'm still going to do content. I'll probably have interviews of my guests to different people. I really want to have conversations with a normal person. I don't want to talk only to psychologists. I don't want to only talk to doctors. I don't want to talk to people who have an EPK or a profile. I want to talk to the guy who sells petrol and just talk about him, and just have a conversation with him about life. So that is where the podcast is going, and I will keep on having episodes where I just let the people know, because I think this is the closest thing I have to rap, because my rap career, I would say hip-hop Ghanaians at the time was advanced than what people are listening to now. So it would have taken time for them to get to my level. So I left it. So this is the closest thing I have to a rap career, funny enough. And in this career, I'm not gonna use that name Ukeli. So from now on, I'm not saying don't use Ukeli, but it's a mark which, you know me from that era, you know the thing that Ama Slay Queen do when they talk about Ama celebrity. Sonke Sombiza, let's just say, his name is 50 Cent, yeah? Sonke Soti RIP 50 Cent, RIP 50 Cent, and then also figure Usman Ban at RIP Curtis, just to show you Guti be Amazi on that level. So now, I'm piercing the veil. If you knew me as Ukeli, you still knew me as Kelly. That was still good. But man, I got say Ukeli Buffett. It is rude. It's embarrassing now to say with high ending Ukeli. And I realized today with still social media, it still has Ukeli on it. So now with food. So yeah, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be alive, and I'm happy that everyone is here. This podcast is gonna be very happy. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We'll have interesting, entertaining conversations, not these sad things every day. It's sad, but stabile foot. So it is your boy Reitumetse signing out. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. Share it with a friend. Share it with an aunt. Thank you.